I represented a husband. He worked since he's 16 years old, saving money. And he bought a house prior to getting married. He bought
that's
it
gone.
a week prior to getting
That's gone.
married. Within 3 years, that house that he had put his entire life savings into was jointly titled.
Yep.
He was so upset that he lost half of that house, half of his life savings. You need to seek out a real estate lawyer. You have to remember that when you put the other spouse's name on the title, it gives them ownership, and they own half of the house and half of the equity.
So how much did my divorce cost me? Well, this is a fantastic question. There's direct and there's indirect costs. Direct costs, I lost $106,000 out of my 401k retirement plan I spent 20 years contributing to. I also lost half the equity in the home, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, cash, and savings that I also spent 20 years contributing to. I also lost half of all the non-liquid assets like furniture, household goods, electronics, cars. Keep in mind, I paid for all of these. And this is in addition to financially supporting her and her/our daughter for 17 years, which is many hundreds of thousands of dollars.
He blew.
I'm now broke, live in a 2-bedroom apartment, and have a negative net worth for the first time since I was, 25. Indirect costs, my job, my sobriety, my self-worth, my masculinity, my hope for the future, my ability to trust women again, my belief in God, my pride, my motivation, my physical health. I don't know, let's just say everything.
I'm all for marriage, and I think that marriage is a great institution, especially for women and children. Women have a natural insecurity that a man is going to leave them when they're in their most vulnerable position, so they use marriage and the government as kind of like a bodyguard to make sure that if a man does choose to leave his family, he's still held accountable for that. And I think that most men are okay with the government being involved in their relationship as long as they're allowed to have a family. The problem starts when you introduce no-fault divorce, so now a woman can use the power of the government to take a man's house, car, and kids without even proving that he did anything wrong. When you have a contract where one person is financially incentivized to opt out of that contract for any reason they deem necessary and are choosing to do so at a 70% rate, then you have a problem. And not only is it financially incentivized, but because everybody's doing it, it's socially more acceptable than ever before. There are literally women who are throwing parties to celebrate their divorce, and other women who would have historically speaking held them socially accountable are encouraging the behavior. Although 40% of households are led by female breadwinners, 85% of all child support recipients are still women, and 97% of all alimony paid out is paid to women. The only problem is if more men choose to not get married, either they're going to be having kids without a commitment, or they're going to choose to not have a family at all. A family is a man's investment into society. If a man chooses not to have a family, that's less reason for him to care about the future of his community. That's less reason for him to get up every single day and continue to be productive. That's less reason for him to give a because if I don't have anything to lose, why would I care?
The reason why the red pill exists is so women, no one was telling women the truth. One, women didn't know what men really thought. Okay, Kevin Samuels talk really emphasized the high value, because that's what a lot of women wanted. They wanted this high value man, and they did not qualify for whatever reason. And the results of their life have shown that they cannot get a high value man, but they will keep fighting to their everlasting breath to get that high value man. But they could actually have a good life with a man who was a 5'6" in terms of looks, money, and everything else, and build a great life.
That's all his message was.
Instagram, social media, dating apps have given women a thought that they have endless options. So all this belief and all these other things, yes, they are helpful. They help. But until we get into the act, we got to tell the truth.
Yeah. Exactly. R.I.P. to Kevin Samuels, but that's what I got from his message. You say you want a high-value man where they're not going to care about your money, so are you feminine, fit, and friendly? Are you going to be okay with him not being present because he's working 60-hour weeks? Are you submissive enough? Because a man that runs his company is probably going to want to be able to run his own relationship. Are you okay with him potentially cheating? Because historically speaking, the men with a lot of resources have never been with just one woman. If you're not okay with those things being a possibility, then why not just be with an average guy? And if you don't want to be with an average guy because you think you're better than them, then you're probably going to be alone because your standards are too high. And it was crazy to me to see how many average women looked down on average men because they thought that they were 10s. I just couldn't understand why every woman was obsessed with being a 10. There's nothing wrong with being average. I'm from the Midwest, and I'm trying to tell you, most of the happiest people in this country are average. Average men with an average woman have average kids. They eat food, get fat, post their pictures on Facebook, take a couple of cruise ships to the Bahamas. I am trying to tell you, those are the happiest people in this country.
This is why it is respected amongst men and not for women, why the double standard exists, because most men that get sex from a lot of women like that out here in the streets, he has to have a skill for those women to come at him to want to have sex with him. So many women. Let me finish. So women, on the other hand, men willingly give it away. All you need to do is have titties and be a woman and be willing to give them the nut. And men give it to women. So it's just like a job. If I came to my job and I had to have a bachelor's and a PhD to get my pay, and somebody over here just came in with a GED, it's not going to be respected because they didn't have to put in the work. When a woman does that same thing that a man does and have all these bodies entering her, there is no skill required for it. Therefore, it's not respected in society.
It's gluttony. It's seen as gluttony.
Lying to yourself. Like, oh, I can't have sex without being emotionally tied. Dude, I can you and literally not think about you the next day. Stop giving yourself that much credit.
But no, hold on. Let go. Why can you do that? Why?
The same reason you guys can, because I'm not in tune with myself. That's why.
Most women don't behave that way. So when a woman does, let me finish. When a woman does, and she's a, even though a man can and he's a, it's different for you than it is for me. Because emotionally, those women, we want a woman that can emotionally bond with us, not one that's been a who can't later on. So it's different.
Let me say this.
They are more likely to leave you, according to psychology studies. A woman with more than 10 bodies has a higher rate of divorce with a man, according to psychologist.com.
Facts.
Science has shown, this is a study from the Teachman Heritage Study. All the way on the left is what happens when you marry your first sexual partner. The chances of staying married is 87%. As the amount of men you have sex with before you actually get married starts to go up, that chance of the marriage working out consistently goes down. You can see over there towards the bottom, when you start getting into like 16 plus sexual partners, the chances for marriage working out significantly drops. It goes down to 17%. So we go from 87% down to 17% by having a whole lot of sex. And it just so happens that the more men a woman has sex with, the lower her ability to pair bond, to really bond with one man. You might ask yourself, well, why isn't that not the case for men? There's a really good saying that goes around, what do you call a key that opens many locks? A master key. What do you call a lock that's opened by many keys? A shitty lock.
Guys have to understand that part of the problem is when a guy's a 6, unless he has a lot of money or a lot of game, he's probably only going to sleep with 6s or below. But when a woman is a 6, she can still sleep with 7, 8s, and 9s. And are we really going to act surprised that the woman who had a 6'6" basketball player in her college dorm room is having a hard time coming to terms that she's going to be married to a 5'8" balding guy that's out of shape? Our society telling women to be promiscuous is fun when you're young and you're trying to get laid, but it destroys their ability to be happy in a marriage. And how our divorce laws are set up right now, it's married men that are expected to pay the price for their wife's promiscuous past. Let me know if the video was a W or a L in the comments below, and give me the HBO special. That's the Help a Brother Out special. Hit the like and the subscribe button for more content. Till next time.